You have to be proud of where you come from. I've been proud and been lucky enough to use it in my work. I live for the joke.
Did you feel the pressure that you had to be involved in that industry?
Comedy is an escape. That's the beauty of it, that we all need to laugh.
He's got red hair looking like Ronald McDonald. Was Ed head, that's the one, yeah.
When we do this comedy based around our ethnic parents, we are looking at the funny side, but also paying tribute to them, because without them, we wouldn't have this life.
I'm Elina Reddy, and welcome to Foreign Influence. Qualities in the business person. Yes, it's within us. It was ashamed of to something
like music where I'll tell a story. Give it
What's happening? Your life can be better.
Happiness is about having a good time, it's about joy.
The girl will go along a faith, so.
And the challenge is...
I love a sound check.
Good. Why?
Because it's the most awkward thing ever, isn't it? Because you never know what you're talking about.
So do you reveal family secrets?
No. I do that on stage.
Okay.
I need the audience for that.
Hey, I'm Elina Reddy and welcome to Foreign Influence. Today we're interviewing someone who has dominated television industry for over 2 decades. He's an award-winning actor, a stand-up comedian, and a radio host. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present to you James Liotta.
Thank you. Where's the studio audience?
How is this intro for you?
Oh, it was fantastic. Thank you, Elina. It's great to be on the show, and I like that you use the word dominated. It's a big word. I just want to make sure.
You deserve it.
Yeah, thank you very much. That's very kind, yeah. Look, I've done a lot of TV work. Dominated is a big word. No Logies for me just yet, but you never know in the future.
You never know.
You never know.
Well, you've had a very interesting childhood because you have been exposed to television industry from very early age. And one of my most favorite movies of all times, The Castle, your dad played Eric Bana's role as a father.
Yeah.
What was that like for you? Did you understand that? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, absolutely. I was a teenager, young teenager when he got that, because my father used to also sort of work part-time as an actor as well. And he got this role, very small role, but the film just was so big, the film went so well. It was seen by millions of people. His face was very recognisable. I still use that to this day as the fact that Eric Bana is my unknown brother through the film world because my father played his father, kind of thing.
You're related.
Yes, yeah, let's just say that.
What was it like for you growing up? Did you feel the pressure that you had to be involved in that industry, or was it exciting and challenging?
No, there's no pressure. It was exciting. My father was a playwright and he used to put on a lot of Italian productions. I'm from an Italian background, and he was a very good playwright, but an actor as well. So he used to put a lot of plays on around Australia, particularly here in Melbourne. And as a child, I was involved in those productions, either as an actor, and then as the years went on, I ended up directing some of the plays as well. So it was always an exciting thing for me, never any pressure, unless he wanted me to do a particular role and say particular things but that I didn't want to say. But as a kid, you grow to understand the business.
You had an agent from the age of 8.
Yeah.
Can you recall for us any of your early jobs?
Do you remember? The early jobs were a lot of commercials, definitely a lot of commercials.
Which one stands out to you the most?
Oh, there was, I think I did a commercial for Australia Post once.
What did you have to do?
Oh, it was, like sometimes these commercials, it's I think we were footy kids. It was a promotion for stamps that were related to AFL. And we were kids, in just this small group of kids dressed up in AFL colours and stuff, getting our footy stamps, you know. So that was one. I've done commercials for every pasta sauce you can think of. Dolmio was one of my first ones. I've done commercials for Dolmio, Zaffarelli pasta commercials, all kinds of things. But I did work on a show on the ABC called Liftoff. Liftoff was a children's show, and I used to have to take time off school to go and work professionally in the business, which was an interesting life as a child. Not every day, but many days through my primary school years would come up, and I would take days off school. And back then, I don't know if it's the same now, but back then the principal needed to sign a document to say, I allowed this child to take time off school to work.
Yep.
And if your grades weren't good, the principal had a right to say, no, I don't allow this child out. And without that documentation, they couldn't make you work.
So did you have any trouble?
No, I didn't.
Excellent.
It was a good way to keep my grades pretty good, because I wanted to make sure that any time I did get a job, that the school would be, no worries, he can go.
Well, it just answers my next question. You really did love what you were doing as a child.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I did love it, yeah.
At what stage do you think you started contemplating seriously that this was your career path?
Probably very early on. As soon as I hit high school, I understood that that was the path that I wanted to take. Entertainment, because entertainment can take you in many different directions. You know, there's all kinds of entertainment. These days I work a lot as a stand-up comic, although I graduated as an actor. It just depends what doors open for you in entertainment, but sometimes people like to focus on one particular area. For me, it was just any form of the entertainment world, I'll give it a go.
So once you graduated high school, what was your next step?
Graduated high school, I did a TAFE course, a 2-year diploma of arts and theatre, and this particular course was designed to create your own work, which in the end, this is exactly what I do now. 20 years on, that's exactly what I do. I put on my own work, I put on my own shows. I work in other people's shows as well, of course, but there's a lot of stuff that I create for myself or with another colleague. We create it together.
I like that one, it's a good song. I like the other one, what's his, the younger man is he's got red hair looking like Ronald McDonald. Was Ed the shithead, that's the one, yeah. I like him, he has this song, it's called Dance with My Eyes Closed. And this song, it's reminded me of my wedding night. Because I was dancing with my husband with my eyes closed. Not because of the romance, I just don't want to look at him. It's too much, you know.
James, what is your secret that you managed to stay in this industry for this long?
Now the secrets come out.
Yes.
Yeah, that's $1 million question. If you want to make a living out of the entertainment business, you can't be too picky, especially early on. You take the small jobs, the big jobs, the medium jobs. My natural talent is to be on camera or on stage or on the microphone, but I did many jobs behind the scenes as well. You know, I've worked as a crew member, I've worked as a theatre technician, I've toured with companies as a roadie, making coffees, you know, just to learn. You've got to learn about the business. If you learn about the business early on and how it works, you can still then focus on your passion. But when you get there and you're lucky enough to be a performer, you know how all the bits work. They say, well, you know, what makes
you wanted to learn the whole structure.
Yeah, that's right. I think the structure is important because then you know everyone's roles and you know how to treat people on set. For example, a great director doesn't know just about the camera. They know about lighting, they know about acting, they know about scheduling, they know about script writing. That's what makes a great director. I can walk onto a set and I know a bit about everything. Yes, my talents lie being in front of the camera or being the performer, but I understand everyone's job. And I like the fact that I understand everyone's job because it's important.
You work a lot on the radio, you're a radio host, and you have been on so many radio stations, including Fox FM. You have your own radio show right now.
I do. Well, there's two actually. I work on a station called Inner FM, which is a local station here in Melbourne. And I also do a radio show on Rete Italia Radio, which is a national broadcaster across Australia. It's on the Italian radio station, but it's an English spoken show. The Italian thing has been a big part of my performance and career as well. Mainly the comedy I work in lends itself to sort of, growing up as an Italian and here in Australia and all that sort of stuff. So I've worked with some great people like Joe Avardi, George Capignaris, Tahir, my good friend Piero Viavattene. We've done a lot of shows together. There's so many, Paulie Fennick on TV, on Fat Pizza and things like that. All these great names, I've been very lucky to be part of their groups and to work with them. It's a big part of my life, the whole Italian thing. This area here, Piazza Italia, very famous for the Italians in the Melbourne community, and it's a place where, especially during summertime, you get all the gelati stores that are open, and they come and grab a gelato and enjoy it here, and they get a little bit of Italy with them.
Piazza Italia, and what is so special about Piazza Italia for you?
For me, what's special about it is that for many years this is where the Italian festival was held in Lygon Street in Piazza Italia. Long time ago, they used to be, they used to block off the street, but we had some great festivals here. They've moved it to the Royal Exhibition buildings now, but while it was here, I used to be the MC on this stage that's just across from us, and this place used to be filled with thousands and thousands of people. One time we had 20,000 people in this piazza, and it would spill onto the street. Always
so
a great
special,
atmosphere.
Incredible.
Yeah, so it holds a really close. It holds a big part of my heart, this area, because of my Italian ethnicity, but also being involved in the festival here in Melbourne. It's a great thing.
I find that it's so romantic. What a close bond you hold with your Italian community.
Well, I guess, romantic is one way to put it. I think, you have to be proud of where you come from. And for me, I've been proud and been lucky enough to use it in my work for most part of it. So I think that's what it is for me.
James, before we were at the Melbourne University, where you performed lots of times in their multiple theatres.
I did perform there many times. Since for about 10 years I performed at Melbourne University, and then I went on to work at Melbourne University in that theatre as a theatre technician, which is a little bit linked to this place as well, because during my break I'd come to this area here in Lygon Street in Carlton.
What is the biggest difference between working on the radio and working on television?
Generally on radio, we're live to air. It's a one take.
A lot of pressure.
Yeah, it's pressure, but it's exciting. That it's the same
adrenaline.
Yeah, it is. It is, Elina. Yeah, so it's the same adrenaline you get from working on stage to a live audience. It's under that umbrella. TV's great, but for the most part, I've done much live TV as well, which is exciting. But for the most part, it's pre-recorded.
Yeah.
You're recording for a show or an actor that's going to get edited and then screened at a different time. But in radio, you're live on stage. You're live, and in some fashion, you get a response out of that, and that makes it exciting. And that's the one difference between people on radio and podcasting. There's a lot of podcasts now. Everyone's got a podcast.
It's very popular.
It's very popular. Anyone can start a podcast. But podcasting still gives you an opportunity to stop if you want to.
Yeah, and also it's up to the editor
that's right.
to then make a decision which bit stays, which bit
Yeah, that's
goes.
right. That's right. You're not live broadcasting to people that you don't know. So that's what drives the adrenaline. Most performers will always say, while television or radio or podcasting or whatever is exciting, that you can't beat a live audience.
As a stand-up comedian, what's that like for you compared to the radio and the television?
That's probably the one that's got the most pressure, the stand-up comedian.
Because you also have to be funny.
Yeah, you do. And being funny is subjective. Not every... What you find funny, another person doesn't find funny.
Yes.
So to me, being successful as a stand-up comedian, you need to test yourself out to audiences that don't know you.
Okay.
Because while it's wonderful and very important to have support from your family and friends, you can't be performing to family and friends all the time, because they'll go, that's nice, you've done well. But they don't tell you the truth. Unfortunately, they don't tell you the truth sometimes. So you need to perform to a wide variety of people. Slowly you'll see if you as a performer, as a stand-up, you've got material that works depending on the response that you get, and you're not going to please everybody. You can't. You can't go into this business aiming to please everybody. It just won't happen.
So
but
that's
you can
something
please,
you have to accept
absolutely,
before going
absolutely,
in.
yeah. If your success rate is 95% or 90%, you're doing well.
Yes.
You're doing really well. To be at 100% success, like it's almost impossible. It's a great world, and I fell into stand-up comedy by accident.
Okay.
Yeah. When I started doing stand-up comedy, I didn't even know I was doing stand-up comedy. I thought I was doing more of a solo performance that was comedic. Because someone asked me and said, we're running, it was an Italian thing, we're running an Italian day and we're looking for a comedy act. Oh, okay, what are you looking for? I said, we're looking, just someone to tell a few jokes and stuff. And I still didn't know, I was pretty young, I didn't know it was stand-up comedy, so I put together this act. And then when I looked back on it, I said, well, that's stand-up comedy that I did. Then you get, the more you do it, the better, obviously, hopefully, the better you get. If you're not getting better, get out. Don't do it. You've got to be getting better,
Going back to your Italian roots, you were born in Australia.
Yes.
But your parents are from Sicily.
They are,
yes,
which you know very well.
Yes, I have recently come back and I have been to Catania, where your dad is from.
My dad was born in Catania. My mum was born another place Agrigento. That's where my mother was born.
Yeah.
But they lived mainly in Catania. I've been a couple of times, not as recent as you.
What do you remember from their stories about their immigration?
They worked hard. Immigrating to Australia, they worked hard, and it wasn't easy.
And the language barrier.
And there was all of that. There wasn't easy. Like my mum's fairly good in English, but my father had a very strong accent. He was okay. He could get by, but his English wasn't fantastic. It probably got a bit better over the years. Well, I wasn't born yet, but if I think about the time when he possibly came out, it would have been even more difficult. They made it work. So a lot of my comedy and the comedy of my colleagues, when we do this comedy based around our ethnic parents, we are paying tribute to them. We are looking at the funny side, but also paying tribute to them, because without them, we wouldn't have this life. And that's why we look at the funny side, because there's a lot of stuff that wasn't great either. But that's not really nice to put on stage. So we look at the funny side instead.
Out of all the gigs you had on television so far, which one stands out to you the most?
Probably there's two. One of them was quite recent when I was cast as a supporting actor on the comedy show Fat Pizza. And the reason why this is so special to me is because Fat Pizza was a show that started 20 years ago on SBS. It had a cult following. It was a very big show. And I remember being about 17, 18, speaking to my agent. They shot it in Sydney, speaking to my agent and saying, can you get me an audition? Can you get me an audition? Can you get me in for an audition? I didn't have any success. There was never any success. Then the show stopped. 20 years later, which brings us to about 3 years ago, the show came back. The producer decided to bring it back, do a new season. I got to know the producer, Paulie Fennick, and he cast me in a supporting role. So it was like a bit of a little mini dream come true, because I always wanted to be in this show, and I was a supporting character, through episode to episode, and it was on Channel 7 Mate, so you can still go to 7 Plus and watch it there and all that sort of stuff. Good. It's all there. So that was one. And the other one that sticks out for me is on the original season of Thank God You're Here. I was cast as a supporting cast member of a particular sketch with Rebel Wilson, who back then, Rebel Wilson, she wasn't a Hollywood star yet. She was quite known in Australia, but she wasn't a Hollywood star yet. So I got to work opposite Rebel Wilson, who doesn't remember me anymore. I don't. So much time has passed.
I'm sure she does.
I'd have to show her the video. Yeah, I had hair then. I had a full set of hair. And the reason why this show is special to me is because it's such a unique show. I know there's more seasons that have just finished. It's such a unique show because number one, it's a lot of fun. But number two, it's a great cross between television and live theatre. It crosses both boundaries. When you film the sketches, there really is no stopping. There's a little bit of editing after, but in the moment, there's no stopping. There's no
People's
cut.
acting has to be on point.
Yeah, it has to be on
Yeah.
point, both the comedian and the supporting actors. You have to just keep going. There's a lot of improvisation. There is a formula, but there's a lot of improvisation as well, because you don't know what the other comedian is going to say. So we didn't know what Rebel would respond to. And that was exhilarating. That was fun.
Tell me about your latest show that you are touring with across Australia.
Yeah, well, this year I finally decided to embark on my own solo tour for the first time ever. Because people said, how come you've never gone solo? I've been having too much fun with my colleagues. We do group shows, and so it's fun to tour with your friends and colleagues, So the show's called The Mama's Not Happy Tour. And she's not happy because I'm 41. Will this go to air while I'm still 41? Probably. I'm single, I'm not married, no kids, and so she's not happy. So that's why I decided to call the show Mama's Not Happy. And it's been a lot of fun. A lot of people go solo, I think, in my opinion, go solo a bit too quickly. I decided to go and do my solo show when I knew I was ready. And it takes 10, 15 years, to really be confident in your material to go solo.
Well, sounds to me like you are very pragmatic in everything you do. Like you were saying on television, you wanted to do all sorts of jobs to understand the structure of it. So I'm not surprised that you're very well prepared.
I think you need to be prepared, I've toured for so many years with my colleagues where we do group shows and sketches and all sorts of stuff, and I just, the idea of doing a solo show, I wanted my audience and I wanted to be ready, that's all.
What is the message you are trying to convey to your audience with your show?
With my shows? That's an interesting question, because there's all kinds of comedians, and they're very good at it. Some like to have a message in their show, a theme or something like that. To be honest, I don't have messages in my show. I live for the gag, for the laugh. It's not about going home and thinking, that thing he said and that made me think about life and this. Not really. I'm a comedian. I live for the joke. I create the joke, the gag. This is the best gag I can come up with. So the message is, give me your money for 2.5 hours, and hopefully I make you laugh and you have a good time, and it's an escape. Comedy is an escape. Entertainment, that's what it is, an escape. Whether it's going to see a sporting match or something like that, or coming to see a show, even a dramatic show, everything's an escape. People are escaping right now watching us. For half an hour,
well, go
they're
for
forgetting
it.
their problems, they're forgetting their problems and listening to us instead. That's the beauty of it, that we all need to laugh. A lot of people, we don't know everyone's problems. Everyone's got problems, everyone's got things, everyone's got things. So to have a job where you can take people away from their problems for half an hour, 2 hours, it's a wonderful job. But you've got to come to the show, otherwise I can't do that for you.
And it's a huge privilege to be able to do that for people, and when you feel that connection with the audience.
It is. It's an interesting life, because you get on stage, particularly when you do work solo, you get on stage and you see this number of people. And these people have paid a ticket, have paid money to see just you. They're banking on you. And there is pressure, but it's also you feel very warm inside about it.
It's rewarding.
It is rewarding, It's a very interesting kind of job. It's a service, but not in the traditional formats, It's not a retail shop, it's not a petrol, it's just a different kind of experience.
James, what's next for you?
Well, next for me, we've got the Christmas season, of course, and Merry Christmas, Happy Christmas to all the people watching out there. That's coming up shortly. I always have a few Christmas gigs as well, where I MC carols in the local community and things like that through all my MC work. But I'm getting ready for 2025, new tours, new shows. They start as early as February. But the best thing for people to do is look out on my socials. That's what it's about.
I love your Instagram. It is so funny. Seriously, I love in the morning when I'm having a cup of coffee.
Is that what you go to?
Yes, I go, what is James up to?
What am I up
It's
to?
just hilarious.
If
And
I-
how you dress up as the
You might not
mama.
always see me. You might see me dressed as a lady. I've made a lot of money dressed as a lady as well. Not as much money as Robin Williams did, but I've done well. Look out on the socials because there's always different shows and tours. And Mum is not happy. Will probably come back as well, but the venues are getting sorted out as we speak. So it's just James Liotta Entertainer on Instagram, and you'll find out everything.
Thank you so much, James, for taking
Thanks,
the
Elina.
time out and having a chat with us.
Thank you. It's been wonderful. Appreciate it.
It was the best.